This is Out Loud and Laughing.
What is up, chosen fam? Welcome back to another episode where we celebrate the dreamers, the doers, and the people who make us feel like anything is possible. Today, we are sitting down with a man who proves that a little bit of persistence and maybe a dozen emails to a certain media mogul can literally change your life. He went from his family's grocery store in Chicago to the bright lights of Hollywood, and now he's the heart and soul behind the award-winning talk show A Spoonful of Paolo. He's a two-time Webby winner, a master interviewer, and honestly, the kind of person who reminds you that your wildest dreams aren't just for TV. Chosen fam, please welcome the incredible, the soulful Paolo Presta.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Thank you both so much. I'm so excited to be here.
We're thrilled. We are so thrilled to have you here. And Paolo, we have to tell you, we've been doing a deep dive on your journey,
Yes.
and it is impossible to not get emotional watching that 2004, right? That 2004 clip where Oprah surprises you at that grocery store. We've heard you describe that moment, not just as a career break, but as the start of you living your authentic life. And so we have to ask, looking back 20 years later, what part of that grocery store, Paolo, do you still carry with you when you're sitting across from icons like Oprah or Leslie Jones?
I mean, the person, me working behind the service desk, I always tell people it's like that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where Tula, works at her dad's, restaurant, and it's not what she wanted to do, but it's what her dad wanted her to do. So there was a deep sadness, a boy who was confused, in his journey in his life. But when she came to that store, my dad's grocery store in the suburbs, it was outside Chicago. I mean, she literally changed my life, and that moment was just like it affirmed that dreams do come true when you are persistent and you continue to put that out there into the universe, because that's what I did. I wrote letters, I emailed, I mean I never stopped. And because I just knew that if someone could change my life or just give me that little boost, it's going to be Oprah Winfrey. And yeah, and it changed my life. So yeah.
I have to follow up, Paolo, because something that you asked her actually was about that story about her grandmother hanging up the clotheslines, and how her grandmother told her that she would be doing this when she was older, and her little voice inside of her said, "Oh, no, I won't." And so it almost sounds like you had that little voice inside of you too, driving that persistence. Can you identify that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that's why I was so invested in asking Oprah that question, is because when I think of the younger Paolo going to work with my dad, waking up at 5 in the morning, going to these grocery stores, my dad would that was his dream, was to have all 7 kids be a part of that store and to be there because he just wanted us to make, good money and wake up early, go to work and be good kids. But there was always that voice too. Cause like Oprah says, we all have that voice inside that telling you, no, you could do something bigger. You could do something that's more aligned with your dreams or something you want to do. And I had that voice too. It was the younger Paolo saying, "This is not what you're supposed to be doing. There's bigger things for you. Just don't give up on yourself. Keep putting it out into the universe." So that's why every time I wrote an email or I sent a letter, is because that person in me kept saying, "Don't give up." I mean, there were times where my siblings would come in my room and they would say, "What are you doing? We got to eat." And I would be like, "I'm writing a letter to Oprah." And they would think, "Okay, you're crazy." And then, it's just a big Italian family. Then they go downstairs. "Oh, Paolo's writing a letter to Oprah." But I just knew, I don't know what it is, that voice, that thing that Oprah says that we have to listen to was
Hmm.
telling me, keep writing. Because I didn't, did I know she was going to come to the store? No, but I just knew something would come about of it. Something, whether it was a connection with Oprah or something else in Chicago. Yeah, you just never know. But when you keep putting it out there, you know, things are possible.
It's so inspiring, and the way John asked that question, the way you're talking about your experience, like that's kind of like how John and I were too, right? We as kids, just like we joked about on the podcast before. John and I tried to make our own magazine as kids. We were like, we love Disney, we'll do a Disney magazine. Like we just always had that in our mind. Like if you want to do it, just fucking do it, right? And so it's really cool to kind of hear your story too. It's like maybe it's something about being gay, like the grit that we have is just insane. How we constantly hit hurdles and we just jump over them.
Yeah, my husband says that all the time. It's like you're not that you're trying to prove it to the people outside. It's just that when you have struggled, like half of my life I've struggled with so many other people who have struggled as well with coming out. It's like you're more determined to fight for your dreams because the one person who believes is you. You're in yourself is you. You can get inspired by other people. I got inspired by Oprah Winfrey, another daytime host, but the person that I really believed in was myself. And I knew that, I always say I love waking up Monday mornings because you don't know what dreams will come true. Because if you are someone who keeps putting it out there, I'm telling you, waking up on a Monday morning is the best thing ever because you don't know what email you're going to get, what phone call you're going to get.
Yep.
So just keep, believing in yourself.
Which also leads into the next question that I had was you've obviously worked behind the scenes at massive shows like Ellen and The Talk, right? But you ultimately chose to build your own table with a spoonful of Paolo. And so you and your husband, Patrick, who we got to meet right before we started recording,
So
have kind
sweet.
of been, yeah, they've been, you two have been the engine behind this show since the beginning. So what has been the biggest challenge or biggest joy of creating a show that is completely DIY where you don't have to answer to a network and you get to kind of just go with your own gut, you know?
It is the best thing ever creating your own show. I
It
remember
is.
when I interviewed Carson Kressley. This was when we had season one of our web show, Spoonful of Paolo. I remember him telling me he was doing his show for a network. And he was telling Patrick and I that it wasn't working because so many people involved who want to create this show take away who Carson Kressley is. So you're listening to the executive producers, the script supervisor. They want you to do this, do this. And with so many people, you start losing yourself. And I honestly, I mean, my dream is to have a bigger platform with our show, but I never want to lose who I am and what my husband and I have created, because I know that it is so special. I know that we are one of the very few shows that we can really sit here and talk about their dreams. If it's he, she, they, whoever it is, talk about their dreams and how they got to where they are today. It's like a full circle for me. My dream came true, so I want to share stories of our guests how their dreams came true to inspire who's ever watching or listening.
You're like the perfect guest because we're in our season of celebration right now, talking about and uplifting all of the people out there who need to hear these stories where, believing in yourself and, really like taking that next step for yourself. And I love that that you often talk about joy and hard work and how those two sort of intersect in that journey. You've recently reunited with Oprah for your 20th anniversary on A Spoonful of Paolo, which was such a full circle moment you were just talking about, right? So during that conversation, you spoke about perseverance. And in those years between the Will and Grace guest spot and winning your first Webby, were there moments where you just felt like the spoonful was too small? Or, I know that you want to work on this bigger platform, but did you have a sense of yourself that just always knew that this is what the internet needed? Like this is what you wanted
Yeah,
to
like,
provide?
I do believe that we were one of the first, like, YouTube shows, like, there was, Michael Buckley, who I interviewed, like, he was doing YouTube stuff, like, I learned Tyler Oakley, like, I learned from them. I'm like, "Ooh, YouTube, like, they're doing these YouTube videos," and, at that time, 2011, 2010, it was a real big thing. So, I'm so grateful that we started our show at a time where there wasn't any other web shows. Now, like, you have all the daytime shows, the late night shows, and they all put YouTube clips out there. So it's a big competitive thing, but I know that our web show that we started back in 2011, I know that it has so much heart, love, inspiration in it because I read people's comments, I read people's emails that send it to me and it's our episodes have taken a little turn with talking about grief when I know that it is okay to talk about grief since losing my mom 4 years ago. It's like I just wanna be different, but I know what we have is so special because we started it at a time where there was no other web shows, and we're still doing it. 15 years later, we're still doing our web show, and, I feel like we get better and better each day, each episode, and it just to me, it's just pure love, pure, kindness that you're putting into the universe, especially at a time with what we're dealing, these last I don't know, this last decade, the last year,
Don't
couple years.
age us.
Yes. Okay, no, no, you both look good, whatever.
We all do. You can't talk about this story without, like, really connecting this almost kismet-like connection with Oprah. I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, you had this dream as a child. You wrote all these letters. She shows up in your grocery store. She's on your 20th anniversary episode. All of these things, like, but we can't talk about this without like this connection that like I see because she was like this icon of an interviewer using a lot of heart and curiosity and coming forward with a lot of compassion and empathy, and I almost see that in you, like, it's so uncanny. I really am just so jazzed by it.
Like before Oprah made my wildest dream come true, I had seen her, stopped her at this gym here in Chicago like 2 months prior. And I saw her and I stopped her and I said, Miss Winfrey, call me Oprah, she said. And I said, I just want you to know that I thank you because you taught me about self-acceptance, about, it's okay to come out because in school, no one told me that. My family, I have a great, amazing family, but no one taught me that. But she did through the television. So it was my moment for a couple minutes to thank her and let her know you've changed my life. A month later, I went to the Oprah Winfrey show. They taped in Chicago, and I told my ex boyfriend at the time, one day I'm going to come through those wood doors that all the celebrities would come. George Clooney, Julia Roberts, they would all come through that door. And then, like literally a month, because the guest on that show was Jennifer Lopez and Richard Gere promoting "Shall We Dance." Then a month later, she comes to my dad's grocery store. So I feel like honestly, there's always been this deep connection with Oprah, and she's been a part of my life. She's guided me. She's just like for me, like a guardian angel, and she's always taking such good care of me. And she supported our web show. I mean, she's been on our show twice.
Wow.
I think we're the only show that she's been on a web show twice. So I don't take that for granted. So that's why I just love putting out positivity, kindness, good, being your authentic self. All of those messages, put it out there because it just will change your life and you will get to where you need to be if you can be your authentic self.
That's exactly how we preach. It's if authenticity is what's going to drive this for our community and to raise our voice. But I have to ask because John and I have been doing this podcast for a little over a year now, and you've been doing your show for so long and on your own. It's not easy, and it takes a lot of work. So, have you ever wanted to quit?
Yeah. You know how many times after, like, when I'm booking celebrities, because that is my job besides being the host is booking the guests on our show.
Yes.
And my husband could never, he doesn't like email, he can't email people. He doesn't want to deal with it. He gets anxiety. I don't even tell him he gets hives. Like he just can. Patrick is an amazing editor, producer. We
Oh.
record 4 cameras, all the lights, the sound. He could do that all.
Uh
But
huh.
to email, he can't. And, there's been many times I want to quit when things don't go your way because you always have this, you're in your lane, you're like, oh, this is going to be perfect. It doesn't go perfect, but those moments make us stronger. Patrick and I always say, if there were only like a behind the scenes recording this, like traveling with all our equipment, things get lost. 10 minutes before the interview, the celebrity comes to the hotel, the suite, something doesn't work, and we're like freaking out, and like I'm breaking out with acne. But it's like those moments really, because nothing goes perfect, nothing goes smoothly. But I always have to tell myself that we're in those moments and it's challenging. There's a reason why, and we get stronger. And we know that if we can get through this, we'll get through whatever comes in our way. So it just, nothing will go smoothly. That's it. You just have to go with it. You have to ride it.
I
I
think
love that.
that's. I mean, you're literally preaching to the choir, which we love because we're all kind of in the same boat. Switching gears a little bit though, let's talk a little personal. So, where are you living now? Like, what is your day to day outside of your show?
You
Give us a little
know,
look into that.
We live in Chicago. We lived in LA. That's where I met my husband in LA. We were in LA for about 17, 18 years. And then we made the decision. Well, my husband convinced me that we should move back to Chicago because I was missing my family a lot. I was missing, my mom a lot. And it was beautiful. Like we moved back to Chicago. I got, 4 extra years with my mom before she had passed away. So I'm just so grateful to Patrick for convincing me that this is the time to move back to Chicago. And so we're here. We love the city. We're city boys. We would only have to be in the city because you see people like you. There's a special
Mm,
community in the city where, people get you and you get them. And we're close to we're close to Lakeview, Boys Town, and we hop on the train. So we just love this life. We love going to New York. That's where we tape our show. Most of the time is in New York, sometimes in LA. But there's something special about being in the city and seeing people and like just who are lit up and fun. So yeah, but we really do love being here. It's been about 8 years now in Chicago.
Wow.
I live right outside of New York City, so A, we're going to
Oh,
see each other when you come.
okay, okay.
But I agree with you, like, the energy of the city, just gives me something. I live in the burbs right now, but if I go into the city every day, and it's just I come home with just this energy. Staying in the city probably really helps with your creative juices and
Oh,
getting
yeah.
everything going, and yeah, people underestimate the energy.
I've talked even about it with even with my therapist, like, there was always something about me driving to the burbs where the anxiety would come in me, like, it was just there's an anxiety, and, but it's like, I know the reasons why, I know growing up in the suburbs and the people who were mean and getting bullied, so there's reasons, but, yeah, just being in the city, I just feel like at home, I feel like I can breathe, like, easy.
Yes. Do you mentioned going to Chicago to be closer to family. What is your family dynamic? Like, how was it growing up, coming out, all like, how was that, you know?
Yeah, like, I mean, I have 6 siblings, and my mom
Mm,
and dad, like, we're very close, and, I have, 17 total nieces and nephews, so we're a big Italian family. I love seeing them. They've always been so supportive of me, I have to say, but it was still a struggle coming out because I didn't come out till I was 20, 21 years old. I grew up Catholic, went to church with my family, but there was a deep struggle because of acceptance with friends, relatives,
mm,
who still don't accept me for being gay. They love Paolo, but they just can't approve the marriage or approve of my relationship. So it was hard. It makes me sad when I think about it. I think of the young Paolo who had so many struggles in school. I was in special ed because in the beginning I didn't speak English, so they put my brother and I in these classes. So there were a lot of struggles, but I am just so happy that like, sitting here talking to you guys, like, I just feel like when you get to be 100% your authentic self, it's like you feel so free. You feel so light. You feel like that you could just be anything. And if I wasn't who I am right now, being my authentic self, there would be no A Spoonful of Apollo. There would be no web show. So, there were struggles, but so glad that I was able to come out of it and be proud of who I am.
We talk a lot about surviving versus thriving. And I think, to your point, thriving is the authentic self. And people often find thriving to be um, less that and more in the survival mode, which we know as the working hard, trying to impress others, living outside of our means, all of those things. It sounds like you had really good support, though. It sounds like you came from a great family, and I know that we all sort of our stories sound very similar. I know that Brian's and mine family all had sort of their moment with our news, and they needed to sort of accept it. We never talk about that in the coming out journey of it's a coming out for everyone, and not that we need to, uh, give that much grace to people who just for to love us unconditionally. I don't think that that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that the support is so important, and regardless of whether if it comes day 1 or 2, 3, 4 years down the line, it's so important to have our families behind our back.
I feel honestly, it could have been really hard if I didn't have my siblings or I can get emotional.
Here's the place.
Yeah, like, if I didn't have my parents, especially my mom, I don't know where I would be in my life
mhm,
because when you don't have these people who you love so much, who you look up to. I look up to my parents. I look up to my father my parents came from Italy. My mom was, 15 years old. My dad came here. He had dreams of opening a store and he did that. So there's so many things that I look up to my parents. But if I didn't have their support or their blessing, even my siblings, I would be a different person. So it's like you just have to find that core group, one person, your family, whoever it is in your family, and stay with them because it's life changing for you, you know. But a relative, when I called her birthday a couple years ago, I always remember I called her every year for her birthday. And it was a beautiful conversation. At the end, she said, Paolo, I can't love you because you sin. And my husband was next to me, and it literally, because of who I am and this person, I'm a person pleaser and all that, it broke my heart. I'm like, she's telling me she can't love me because I'm gay.
mm.
And I think about that because I see her all the times, but I think about that and it hurts because I think of the younger Paolo in me where he's crushed. But as I get older, I say, well, that's just how it is. You will go through life with people not accepting you, but that is their battle. That is their journey, you know? And because I know that I am special, I know that I am a good person. I know that I love myself and I love the people around me. So if I lose that one person, that is, their journey then.
I want to pass over to John to have our lighter section, but I have one more question for you, Paulo, before we, because I think this story and this conversation is so interesting, and so many people who are younger than us, even though all three of us are thriving and we are not old at all, but those who are kind of waiting for their family to quote unquote get it, or they're waiting for their big break. What's that one piece of advice you'd give to for them to stay on course?
Mm.
Be patient with yourself. Like we live in a society right now with social media where we're looking at other people, we're looking at people who are, oh, they have it made, they have it good. Look at them on their vacation. Look at this beautiful photo. I just say be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself. When I see another friend who interviewed someone that I've been trying to interview, I'm happy for them because I know that I've been able to do things that that person couldn't do. So be kind, be gentle, be patient, and just know that if you see the vision yourself or this dream that you have for yourself, keep seeing that. Just be kind, be gentle, and don't worry about what you see on social media because that's all. Sometimes I say it's like made up. The filters, this, the editing, all that. Just be kind to yourself.
Beautiful.
It's really beautiful, and thank you for coming to us with no filter. You are absolutely pure sunlight, Paolo.
Well, you guys too,
Um,
so thank you. Okay.
oh, thank you. And like, listen, I could talk to you about you and Steven or you and your friendship with Oprah all
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
but we do have a tradition here, and we like to get into the nitty gritty of what makes our guests tick. So
Okay.
it's time to enter the hot seat again. We call this or that, the Dreamers Edition. So don't think, just react. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
It's time for another round of this or that, the unhinged get to know you game.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. Are you more of a scripted lines or an unfiltered conversation kind of guy?
Unfiltered conversation guy. Yeah, reading stuff does not I cannot connect with. It has to come from my heart, my words, because that's where the connection happens. Even with our guests, with my husband, with anyone, it's just I have to speak from my heart.
It's true.
I love it. Deep dish or thin crust?
Thin crust. I used to be deep dish, but as I get older, I'm like, that cheese is just killing me. It's
Yes.
so I'm like, thin crust, I could do it all the time. Love thin crust. Giordano's thin crust, I'm very happy. Pizzeria Uno, very happy with. Yes, yes.
I love Pizzeria Uno and Duo, and I love Chicago, and now you're making me want deep dish pizza. Are you a scruff or no scruff kind of guy?
On my husband, no scruff, but like Ricky Martin, I always say scruff. So like, because
Yes.
I am happily married, I say no scruff then, okay?
Woof, woof, Ricky Martin.
My husband recently started trying to grow a mustache in, and I've
Uh,
been with him for 13 years, and I'm like, get rid of it.
see?
It's a new look. You look different. I don't like it. That's not who I fell in love with.
send, send me a picture. I want to see this
Feels like an
attempt.
imposter. Okay. Do you prefer a butt or a chest?
Ooh, but I'm a butt person. I've always been like, yeah. My husband has a beautiful butt. Thank God he's not here because he would kill me for saying this because he's so shy. But yeah, butt.
Also after heated rivalry, like the
Yes,
butt is
right? 100%.
No pun intended, but they're making a comeback. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Yes.
are you a shower or a bath kind of guy?
I'm a bath person. Patrick would say this too. The first thing I do when we get to a hotel, wherever we're going to interview the guest, what I do, I use the bath. It has to be a bath, and I always take a bubble bath. If there's no like bubble bath like in there, I use the shampoo or the body wash, and I just keep pumping it. Yeah,
Yes.
and I know
Same.
the maid gets mad at me because they're so. But I leave her a nice tip, so she's happy or he's happy. But I definitely, yeah, bubble bath. Give me a bath, and I am so happy. I want to relax.
Uh, you were talking to two Cuban boys who grew up with no bubble bath, so we used those shampoo all the time for our
Right?
bath.
You
All
know,
the
you
time.
make the experiment. Use that then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you want a high-end gala or a cozy night in with Patrick and Winnie?
As I get I would say cozy night.
Mhm.
I just would stay home, put me on the couch. with him alone, watch whatever shows we have to watch, and I would just be I'm so happy. Like tonight we have to go. I'm going to a fundraiser tonight, a gala thing, and we're raising money for cancer. Beautiful, but the thing I'm thinking is when can I go home? I'll be thinking
Yes.
throughout the like when can I go home and just put my PJs on, lay on the couch, and watch TV.
I can't get to that Saturday morning quick enough,
Yeah.
right? Would you prefer recording in front of a intimate studio or a live audience?
Look, I could do both, but I would prefer a live audience because there's something, and I get what Oprah did in the 25 years of the Oprah Winfrey Show, is when you have a live audience, you're feeding their energy. And if they're into the conversation or if they're laughing or crying, whatever, you feed off that. And it makes the interview different. It just makes it different. So I would say a live audience.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to our city conversation of the
Yeah.
energy and kind of feeding
Yes.
off of it.
100%. Yes.
Okay, this one's our sports question that we ask. Okay,
God.
so you're in a baseball team. Would you rather pitch or catch in the game? If you see what we did there.
Just catch. I feel safe. I feel good. It's going to be a hit.
It's gonna be a hit.
You're
That's
so
great.
sporty, Paolo. We love it.
Yeah.
I know, wow. Who
Look, you
would have
asked me, the
thunk?
only thing I know about is I could name people like the Chicago Bears. 'Cause I remember when I was younger, Walter Payton, the Fridge, Jim McMahon. I don't know why, because they did the Super Shuffle. So that's the only people I know about sports. Anything else? Nothing.
It's
Yeah.
because you like their butts. Are you more of an Italian family Sunday dinner kinda guy, or would you rather be at a Hollywood rap party? I love that that's where you're stuck. All the other ones you answered so quickly.
I have so many nieces and nephews. So, like, in May, every weekend is
Fair
booked
enough.
with some sacrament, communion, confirmation.
Oh
So,
my
like,
gosh.
maybe a Hollywood rap party just because I know it'll be different and I know it's gonna be different. And then I don't, like, my family won't be there then. It's just sometimes it's okay to escape and get away, you know?
Kinda fair.
Night alone, correct.
These are
Okay,
good, you guys.
okay, last one. This one's our big one.
Okay.
Being the interviewer or being the guest?
You know what? Oh god, that's good because, like, I like being the guest right now, but I think in my core, in my heart, is the interviewer because we just had these things like VHS tapes converted digital, like that my mom had, and I see myself. Patrick was just like nonstop, like watching like crazy. I see that young Paulo interviewing my dad, my mom, my siblings. So that was always been a part of me. I didn't know that it would take me to where I am today. I just love having conversations. I love talking to people. I love asking questions with whoever is around me, my friends, my family. So I would have to go with, yeah, the interviewer.
Well, you are an excellent one. You've been inspired by the best, let's just be frank.
Yes.
Paolo, thank you so much for being such a light and for sharing your heart with us today. You remind us that being authentic isn't just a buzzword, it's a superpower, and for all of us to listen to that little voice within. So, we're interested, where can our chosen family find you and watch the new season and keep up with everything you're working on?
Oh, I appreciate it. You can go to at Paolo, Paolo Presta on Instagram. So it's at Paolo Presta. The website is a spoonful of Paolo.com. So a spoonful of Paolo.com is the website, or my Instagram at Paolo Presta.
Ugh, thank you for listening, chosen fam. Stay loud, stay laughing, and never stop sending those emails to the universe. We'll chat soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
This was Out Loud and Laughing.
We're available everywhere you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart, or wherever.